Okay, so welcome to the Forge Coffee Break. This is an open space for Forge questions and discussions, and it's very generic. And if you are coming for the first time, this week we're having the Forge training, and I know that a few of you came from the training. We are running that training in Asia, Pacific time zone, and Europe and Americas. So right now, 8 a.m., we are starting the Americas presentation. I believe Michael Beal is presenting today. In Europe was Peter Bros and Varun in Asia. So you're doing this training this week, 5 days, three time zones, and you can also choose the language you want to use on that training. Uh, well, a very common question is, are we recording those trainings? Yes, we have the recordings for all of them. We're going to post that later. And if you're coming from the training and this is your first time, welcome. Thank you for joining. The purpose of this coffee break is to have a bi-weekly open conversation about anything that you have on Forge, any questions, any random topics, and with that, let me open to you. If this is your first time coming, and if you wanna say hi, present yourself, and this is your chance. Just open your microphone. If you wanna open your camera as well, you're free to go. And let's see who's new. Raise your hand. Let's see. I saw a few people with saying they're new. You can just unmute and talk, Gareth, if you want to.
Hi, gents. I attended the Forge training today. I was with Peter Bros, and been working with web technologies for quite a while, so I'm interested in seeing what we could bind together. I'm actually also an Autodesk direct debar partner, and I'm part of the development team, so I'm very excited to see what you have to offer.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
So hi there, this is Julian. I'm from Germany, working for a construction company called Ziplin. It's part of the Strabag company. And I've been attending already a workshop with Peter Bros. It was really great. And we are interested in design automation API and stuff like that. So yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. So the training will go the entire week, and Friday is the day for design automation. And I believe in Europe will be Adam Nagy doing .NET and Cyril Favel doing Node.js. So yeah, thank you for attending, and hope you enjoy Friday.
Well, I'm not taking part of this workshop. I attended a workshop a couple of months ago.
Oh, I see. Okay, sure. Excellent. All right. So what do we have new this week? There's a lot of stuff coming up. Actually, AU is coming up. And as you know, AU this year will be virtual, and anyone can attend. It's free, by the way, but you have to register, and you have to do it soon, right? Because we have to prepare for everyone and make sure to have all the classes available. We from the Forge team will be doing a lot of things during the AU, a lot of activities. So stay tuned for that. Let me show you one thing that is happening that is really, really cool, right? So we do the accelerator almost every month, and we are doing that virtual since the beginning of this year. And this time we are running a hackathon at AU. So this hackathon will be the week before AU, and the big difference between a hackathon and the accelerator, right, is that we still have all the support, everyone to help you there, help you will be available, but we also have a showcase of all of the awesome applications that you develop. We have a showcase at AU, and of course this is a hackathon, so we have teams and we have prizes. So if you are interested in attending and you have a cool idea, this is your chance. Join the hackathon. Will happen November 8 to 13, and you can sign up here. And we already have the challenges available, so you can look at the challenge and understand and prepare your ideas to work for the hackathon. I know that I think a few of you are attending, and as far as I know, I believe we are almost 50%, already more than 50% occupied for that all the slots we have. So hurry up, right? We are almost full for the hackathon. And let me go back to you. I mean, any questions, any topics that you want to bring up? I know that Manny said that all of his colleagues are joining us today. So where are they?
Yes, we already have one of them online. Colt, maybe you want to speak about our latest.
Yes. Hi, good morning. Over this past week, we've been investigating upgrading our Forge Viewer version from 7.2.1 to the latest, so 7.29. It has gone more smooth than we anticipated, so that's really good news. We're also investigating using the SVF2 beta program. And we didn't run into too many changes other than the way we load BIMs from the bubble node file path broke from using SVF to SVF2. We were using the viewer load model method, and I think we're supplying it the wrong viewable path. I ended up changing it to the load document node method, and that worked pretty well. And I was looking in the updated documentation, and there's updated documentation on the model derivative jobs, but is there any documentation on how the viewer interaction changes with like the bubble node?
Okay, so refer to the documentation is always the best way. And if you go to the developer guide, there is a initialize load model step of the tutorial. And you see you have to load the document as shown here. And after that, it's the load document node. So that's the way to use it. And that's how it's supported, right? This documentation was already updated mostly for SVF2 as well. So you mentioned load model something, but
Yes.
load document node, that's the way to go.
Okay. I believe that how we were doing it with load model was coming from just how we were doing it several maybe years ago.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, so that was a bit different before, and that was indeed a change on V7. So probably was some piece of legacy code that was causing that, right? But just summarize, right? You should use document node, and that's the way on V7. If you are still, if your code is used to work on V6 as well, right? And you wanna review all your V6 code, there is a migration guide right here. So that should point out all the big changes from V6 to V7, and you can review if you still have something around this, because that can cause you problems later, because as we change it, and we may still have some of those legacy pieces of code that could affect your application.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, we've upgraded from V6 to V7, I believe, last year. And even in this migration guide, I'm seeing in V6 it was viewer.load, and in V7 it's showing viewer.load model, which is what we had.
Yeah, but okay, I understand. So this is passing that's also passing the SVF, right? I believe there is also a difference here that I had to remember, but I don't remember right now. But coming back to the tutorial, it's best to follow what's described in the tutorial. So that's the way to use to load the modules. So load document node. I'll have to remember what is the reason to have that load model, and there was a specific reason that I don't recall right now. I have to think about it.
Okay, great, thank you.
Maybe if there is anyone else here that remembers that. Yes, just Dennis. If you remember the reason, Dennis, I don't remember right now. But yeah,
Sorry, I was playing with the Forge Viewer some time ago as well, and I was also using load document node. The reason why I used this one was because I wanted to load a couple of models from different sources into the viewer. I just recall that.
So yeah, the load document node works for multi-model, no problem. You just have to pass an attribute saying that keep current model true.
Yeah,
Right? So
yeah.
that tells the system to keep to not unload what you already have there. And talking about SVF2, it's the documentation is if you go to the changelog dated today, yeah, today, we are the beta version of the SVF2 is going public beta, and the documentation is available there now. And if you go to the post job, it's also on the post job documentation. So we have more information coming up today, but as now it's 8 a.m. here in Pacific, we are moving some of that information live. The documentation was the first one. There is also a few announcements coming up during the day, but you can see on the changelog that the information is now available as we're moving to public beta.
Awesome. That's good to hear.
Yeah. Was long do work. All right. Any other questions? Any other topics you want to bring up?
Yeah, there's another topic. You've recently posted a new note on the blog regarding mapping 2D drawings against 3D models and tapping into location data. Yes. So we've been interested in doing this in the context of 2D sheets that are not necessarily generated through Revit, or they're not being produced from the Revit model directly, rather they're coming from a PDF. So we wanted to know how much of this interaction and mapping is being documented for PDF against models, and how you go by establishing these locations for filtering and mapping 2D against 3D.
Okay, so if you look at the blog post, you see that it makes extensive use of this AC model data, right? Which essentially is the mapping between, it's not only the mapping, but it's the AC model information, which contains the location, the reference points, etc. This is very specific to Revit models, and when it comes to AC or to construction models like Revit, IFC, or DWG, etc. Revit is actually the only file format that supports both 3D and 2D. Right? If you go to IFC, for instance, that's 2D only. 3D only. DWG can also maintain some of those relations, but the way you define your 2D views on a DWG file is not as stable or as good as the Revit, right? Because the way the mapping happens. When it comes to PDF, actually PDF it's really, there is really not that much information, because PDF is just a plotting format in that case, right? You are just outputting all the geometry so you can view it. So from the PDF file, you cannot really go back and extract that information. You cannot do that for PDF or DWF. Both formats are very plot or print centric, and you just output the data, lose most of the metadata, and just leave the geometry with some of the metadata there. So yes, unfortunately, this kind of feature will be for a Revit file only. In the context of construction, right? You can do it on manufacturing like inventor files, but in the context of buildings and houses, etc., construction, that will be Revit files.
And where are these locations coming from? Are they spaces defined in Revit model?
So the way, are you talking the way he maps between the locations? Okay.
Correct.
So what he's doing here is he's using the room boundary information to map from one to the other. So if you, I believe, scroll down, that, yeah, here, find viewports, etc. That's how he's mapping them. Not actually, not actually the room boundary, but the map between the coordinates. But this, as I said, this is using the viewport and the information that is coming from the Revit file to do the mapping. Before this API, we've done this kind of mapping before, but it was very manual, very manual process, right? So you you get the coordinates and do the mapping yourself. But now with this, not now, since we released this AC model, which is it's available for some time now on Revit files. With that, you can speed up the process. This kind of additional location information is available for Revit and is also available for DWG in case we're looking for geolocation information, but not the boundaries like this, right? This thing here is Revit only.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
for
just to
question.
add,
oh, go ahead.
just to add, another way of doing this, if you don't have access to this kind of data, as Augusta mentioned, it's a manual thing, but it mostly something like mapping between 3D and 2D. So for instance, in this case, we can select an object like, I don't know, a table or a chair on 2D, and on 3D, both have position. And this is enough in order to automatically establish this relation. It is enough to select one object, do the sync, and that's it. Everything else should run smoothly. So this is a workaround in case you don't have access to these kind of things.
Yeah, just adding to that, that it's important to notice that this is available for when the model contains 3D and 2D, right? When it comes to PDF file, as you mentioned before, right? PDF will not contain that information.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mani. So who else from your company is here with us today? You said 5 people.
Yes, it's only 2 of us right now.
Okay. I was just curious.
3 others are sleeping.
But you are coming from Europe, right?
No, you're calling in from Central Time Zone, Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. Okay.
We have people in various time zones, but those of us on the call today, we're all from Chicago.
Okay, I see. Yeah, just like our team, we are worldwide. All right. Let me get back to people. To people from the training that attended the training this week. Any questions? Anything that are you just starting this week? Hello.
Hi, I'm not from the training, but I do have a question. Maybe
Yes.
this is like I noticed that the model derivative service is not supporting RFA files, so the Revit family files. Are there any plans to change that, or is it possible with the SVF2 format now? Does it affect that or not?
Yeah, so the families are not supported directly because, as you know, when you have a Revit family, the geometry of that family can vary a lot depending on parameters that you specify, right? So with the viewer technology today, that we have the idea of parameters and parameterize, make a parametric modeling, right? This is not possible on the viewer today. So that's why the families are not supported. The best workaround is to get that family, insert that inside the Revit file, and translate the Revit file. So we've seen before that you insert the family and create a few additional instances of that family, one with each variation of that of the parameters, and you may even create multiple views, one view for each variation, for instance. But translate the family directly in the viewer or directly to be viewed with the viewer, it's not supported because of that, because of the parameters and the way some of those parameters can be calculated, right? If you remember from Revit, you can have very complex geometry or complex parametric calculations to calculate the geometry. So that's why it's not supported. And just to complete the answer on the SVF2, you mentioned, right? SVF2 is not really a change on the way we translate, it's an optimization after the translation. So what happens is that we get the model translate to SVF, meaning that we have this huge pipeline to pipeline to translate from all the formats we have into SVF. With that, we extract the entire geometry and then extract all the metadata. This process is running for a few years now, and it's very stable, and it's stable, right?
Yeah.
After we get the SVF, we run a second script to optimize that and do some steps to optimize the geometry. We call it the deduplication of geometry, and that will make sure that the model will load faster. So the SVF2 is a post process inside the after the SVF. Just to be very clear, and I know that people here are working with SVF2. So, but that's RFA's families and SVF2. They are separate things.
Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to say to the first part, but my microphone was not working at the moment. Yeah, I know that workaround of storing, like saving the families inside of the Revit project file, but this is of course not very nice, because the use case we have is that we want to kind of have something like a library, like where all of the RFA files are sitting on a server somewhere, and then we want to show them in the Forge viewer. Of course, like during up, you could like create a RVT file during upload or whenever you want to have it. But I was just thinking that even RFA file or a family always has kind of default parameter values. So our use case wouldn't be that we show or display Revit families inside of the Forge view, and then you have all of the fancy possibilities of changing the parameters and stuff. The use case would be more just say show the default family with default values, just to to have something in 3D there on the viewer. Yeah. So something like this would be nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just that when we have something like a translator for models, right? It needs to be something that will work for most of workflows, right? And from what we understand and how people use it, the default values of the families is just a small fraction of the usage. So that's why we coming back why we don't support RFAs is because it's highly parameterized parametric models. So that's why. Yeah, but it's a good point. If you have family that you want to have the default values, you can definitely insert that as a Revit project and translate that after. Yeah, and thank you for your question, Julian. Okay. So what else? As I said, we are running the training this week. Let me open the blog post here. Bootcamp. If you want to attend any other day, that's still available. Oops, come back here and let me share. So today we are running the where is it? We are running the extended viewer. So that session went live in Europe and it just ended like early today. And now we are running that for Americas. Tomorrow we have dashboards, how to create dashboards with Forge. And Friday, how to modify models with Design Automation. This training is very similar. It's actually using the same step-by-step from the Learn Forge tutorial. And the benefit of the training is to have a space for you to ask questions on how to complete those steps. So if you haven't, if you want to attend, it's still in time. And with that, I think that we're mostly. So the next session of this coffee break will happen in 2 weeks from now, as usual, bi-weekly, and that's the week before, 2 weeks before AU. We'll still be running the coffee break during AU, during the AU week. And the special edition of the coffee break during AU will be fun to discuss all the classes we are having and all the cool events we have. So hope to see you again in 2 weeks, and that's it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for attending, and hope to see you soon.
Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.